You're a mum, you're a mum, you're a busy mum. Come listen to the Busy Mum podcast. Life hacks and inspiration for the busy modern mum.
Welcome to the latest episode of the Busy Mum podcast. Just before we get into this interview, I will be releasing new episodes each Monday morning, just like clockwork. Also, if you don't want to miss an episode, subscribe to my iTunes channel, The Busy Mum Podcast. I'm also on Facebook and Instagram. Just search The Busy Mum and you should find me there. Now, a word from our sponsor. Do you find that you hop in the shower, you're enjoying the lovely hot water dripping down all over your body, relaxation, no interruptions from the kids, and you think, yeah, I'm going to shave my legs now. You just pick up your razor and it's in just the most rubbish condition. It's rusted, it's full of soap scum or shaving cream, or even your husband has grabbed it and shaved his face and not cleaned it out. Gross. But you clean it out a little bit, you give it a go, and you end up cutting your legs, and now they look worse than when they were just a little bit hairy. Well, now thanks to Pins, the latest and greatest women's leg shaving company, you can have them delivered straight to your door. New razors all the time. But not only do they have razors with 6 blades plus 4 extra cartridges in the pack, but they also have a clear shave gel, which is slippery as hell and moisturizes to boot. The gel also allows you to see exactly what you are shaving, which is great for those pits and private bits. I've been using them now for at least 6 months and I'm loving it. Check them out at www.pins.com.au. And don't forget to use the Busy Mum podcast code, BusyMum, to get 15% off your first purchase. Welcome to the Busy Mum podcast, Amy. How are you today?
I'm good. Thanks, Jackee, for having me.
No worries. And thank you for being a guest. I really appreciate it. I love having all different types of guests on the show, and I think the audience enjoys it as well. So could you just tell me a little bit about yourself?
Okay, so start with the fact that I'm 42. I'm a mum to a 6-year-old boy and a 12-year-old stepdaughter. Both are great kids. On top of all of that, I run my own business consulting company, basically working with small business owners to bring big business thinking. I live at home with my partner and my son primarily, and our stepdaughter comes occasionally, every second weekend actually. Mm-hmm. What do I love? I love walking. I love taking time out with the kids. I love focusing on my family, but I do love what I do. Very, very passionate about what I do for business and work.
Before you started your business, what were you doing before that in the corporate world?
So just a bit of background. I'm a CPA by trade. Mm-hmm. So I got a double degree in marketing and accounting. So I worked in the corporate world in different types of industries, such as the country roads of this world, Crown Casino. I worked for different recruitment companies. I've spread myself a bit thin, but I certainly designed it that way from a career perspective so I could really enhance my individual skills in different types of industries. So my positions in those particular companies was anything from an accountant right through to the CFO, commercial finance manager, on different types of boards, doing different types of strategy work with business owners.
So what made you want to become a CPA? Like, what was the trigger there?
Oh, this is a really silly story. But would you believe, I didn't know what a CPA was at the time, but I always wanted to be an accountant, which is so boring in so many ways. But I think my drive was primarily to be in business and to make a difference in business. So I identified really early on at high school, actually, that the whole business world came back to those 2 bits of paper, cash in, cash out. And so for me, I identified that, being an accountant, because my dad's an accountant, my grandfather was an accountant. There's a few of us floating around that I could see that was that real connection into me being in business. Mm-hmm. Which is why I was never going to be a tax accountant, specialist in superannuation. It wasn't my personality. I wanted to be in business. I just wanted to surround myself with understanding that side of the corporate world. And so CPA came hand in hand with that, from the respect that in order for me to advance my skill set and to get the roles that I had worked so hard for, I had to take that next
you got to push yourself each step of the way and get better and more qualified and just
That's right.
probably challenge yourself each and every day.
Yeah, and it certainly was.
So what's your business called now?
So it's actually, I rebranded recently just back to Amy Bajada. I used to be called Management Solutions by Design, but in understanding a little bit more about who I am as a business owner and what I do is I realised that Amy Bajada is who I am as a business, but what I do as a business is Management Solutions by Design. So a lot of feedback I got from potential clients was that they weren't searching for management solutions by design. They were searching for me because I was the face of my business. So I rebranded a couple of years ago and it's been great for me, definitely, that rebranding.
Yeah, because they go into Google and they'll just search your name. I know that, and then if you have a website with your name. Do you have a website with your name? Is that how it is now? Yeah, and that's like no one else is really going to be marketing that either. Is it?
No, that's right. That's exactly right. That's exactly
really right. So can I ask who are some of your clients now, or is that all very confidential?
I'll keep it confidential, but I can give you some brief understanding of the types of clients that I do have on board. So a lot of them, again, my target market is a small business owner. So I have anyone from mechanics to cafes to startup businesses that are wanting to get into various different types of industries. I've got property management companies that I'm working with at the moment. Who are some of the other clients I have? I've got, there's a few in each of those types of areas at the moment that are quite active.
Okay, and what are you actually doing for them? Because I know you said it's like cash in, cash out. As a business owner myself, I know cash flow is king, and sometimes your sales don't actually match what's in the bank because it's due in the future and you've already done the work for it now. So what's your role around helping us small business owners get through those periods?
So it's actually cash flow is probably one of my strengths and one of the things that I do focus on with a lot of business owners. And I think in terms of the types of clients that I have, I do focus on a lot of the financial strategies, such as, the cash flow strategy, the costing strategy in particular, and any future strategies. Now, each of them are pretty much linked primarily. If you've got a great costing strategy in place, you'll find that your cash flow will be in abundance. You get your costing strategy right, you're going to find that you'll have more cash in your bank than you have before, and that it aligns with the effort that you put in. Yeah. So in terms of my business, that's what I work a lot with in terms of clients. They tend to focus on those areas and they come back to those because they're talking about the fact that they want more cash in their business. So I have to take them back to the bone as to what it is that you've got to focus on.
Yeah.
That's right.
What are your terms of trade and what are you buying things in for, and how can we get that down, and how can we charge more, add more value?
That's exactly right. It's exactly, and sometimes it's not even about charging more. It's just about respecting the charge that you do have on any of your products and services that reflect your business, not the businesses within your field. It's your business itself, because you would know as a business owner that the way you run your business would be so different to someone else in your exact same field. So you have to understand the components that will drive the cash.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, well, let's move on a little bit. Just describe for us a day in the life of you, Amy.
My days are colourful, which I love. They always start at about your 5 o'clock mark, unless I'm really dragging my feet, which can happen, especially during winter. Yeah. But I find the 5 o'clock mark really just sets me up for the day. So a typical, working week includes some school drop-offs and stuff. So for me, getting up at 5 o'clock allows me just that headspace without the chaos to just, because nobody else is awake, that's for sure, to just get things done and set the day up. I've got a young son, like I said before, and he has special needs, so he requires some different attention at different points. So being able to set my day appropriately while there's no one else around makes it easy for me, getting his lunch done and getting his little visual boards set up and ready for him to go certainly helps the morning run smooth. Then there's the drop-off, which is always lovely for me because my working day then starts.
I love drop-off too. Let's all face it.
It's kind of nice. I know it's terrible to say sometimes, but it's a bit of breathing space. But then I kind of put the business hat on and I feel, can I use the word normal? There's a bit of normalcy about that as to who I am, who is ingrained in me sort of thing. Only being a mum for 6 years, it's still quite foreign to me at times. But yeah, no, I then get into business mode and it's literally go, go, go with clients right up until pickup. And if it's not with clients, it's business strategy, as you would know yourself, because you've got to factor that into your day. And then I'm back to being a mum by 3:30 and it's, emptying school bags of sand and all of the fun stuff and getting dinner ready and organising about 15 different meals just to ensure that everyone's got what they want to eat for the evening.
I know. Why do we do it? Like, I want to get back to the one pot wonder, Like, why can't I just make a pot of stew or something and then everyone actually eats it?
It'd be nice, wouldn't it? It would be so nice.
Maybe eventually, maybe when they're teenagers, you can just go, look, that's all there is. And if you want something else, you can make it yourself.
I often hear my mum coming out of my voice saying, if you don't like what's in front of you, you can go without kind of thing. But sometimes that's not the case.
Or while you're under my roof, you can follow my rules.
Oh, there's another one. There's definitely another one I've heard before. So,
or have a piece of fruit. Oh, you're not hungry then if you don't want a piece of fruit.
Jeez, we all grew up at the same time, didn't we?
We did. All those
must be in some sort of parenting handbook somewhere that those are the phrases that you use at least once in your daily life, that's for sure.
Exactly.
But then after dinner, it's, bedtime, and once that crazy's over, sometimes for me, it's getting back to actually a bit more work. So that's
you mentioned you've got overseas clients. Is that right? You've got overseas clients as well?
Yeah, some overseas clients, because I do also teach 1 day a week at a music and entertainment academy in South Melbourne. And I teach students that basically aren't necessarily musicians, or they can be musicians at time, but they want to be in the industry, but they want to actually be the business minds of the industry. So they want to be the artist managers or the event planners. So I teach them how to run the fundamentals of their finances from a business perspective. And from that, I've been able to develop some international connections in the music industry, where I've had a couple of clients and stuff overseas. So
what made you want to do that? Like, how did you get into that? Because that's very different to what you're doing, on a day-to-day basis, I suppose.
So the story, I always liked the idea of teaching to some degree, because I find that what I do for a living essentially is an educational process, essentially. And I kind of landed in it when I first started my business. You know how you get to a point where you go out on your own and then you get those nerves happening and you think, oh, where are the clients going to come from, and are they going to come thick and fast? And so you feel like you've got a few more gaps, and then all of a sudden I was presented with this opportunity to teach a semester or trimester to these students, and I thought, oh, look, I'll give it a go. They were looking for someone in the finance area. So I did, and 7.5 years later, I'm still doing the same thing. I've developed course content. I've done a whole stack of things, but it's one of those things that, again, I gain satisfaction from purely because whilst it's not exactly what I do on a day-to-day basis, I get a real kick out of being able to educate people to run their own businesses. So it kind of falls within a similar category.
Have you thought about maybe doing an online course for that? Like, because you've got content there.
I certainly do.
Yeah.
And it's something I'm kind of working on at the moment, but I kind of get a bit funny about putting my own mug on.
No, do it. I reckon, like, because it's quite a niche market, like teaching, the entertainment industry to manage finances. Like, I think there's something there. Like, I reckon you should go for it. Do it.
Yeah, look, like I said, it's, I'm looking at platforms and stuff at the moment to do it. So, and even I'm in the process of inquiring more about getting some accreditation around that type of content. So
yeah, I know nothing about that. Yeah.
I don't at the moment yet. I'm still learning. So we'll get there. I'll let you know once I find out a little bit more.
That's very exciting, though. That's, that makes me excited. Like, I love creating
thank you. That's really
content and
feedback,
stuff.
actually.
Yeah. So, what's the best advice you've received?
I was told a very long time ago, to have something you've never had, you've got to do something you've never done. Now, I don't think it's an organic quote from the person I actually heard it from. Mm-hmm. I think someone else coined the phrase, but it's kind of the way I lived or have lived my life. Mm-hmm. Like I, have always delved into something new and love learning. So if I ever want to, like this whole, course online, to actually have all of that.
It's
new, it's scary. So I've got to do something I've never done, and that's get involved in that. So, yeah, I kind of apply it even in my personal life. From travel, I used to travel quite a bit before kids, as you do. And it was about extending myself and putting myself outside my comfort zone and to have those experiences, I had to do something I'd never done. So kind of
I heard a saying. It's something like if you do the same thing over and over again and expect something different, it's something or other. I forgot the quote. I'll find it and I'll put it on your blog. But it's like if you expect something different but you're doing the same thing, like you're basically an idiot kind of thing.
Yeah, I think it is the definition of insanity.
Yes, that's it.
Doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result.
There you go. Nailed it on the head.
There you go. I think we've heard that one.
Yeah, that one. Oh, my God. So do you have time to watch Netflix or Stan, or are you an avid book reader? Or
I used to be a big book reader and I miss it so much. But, no, I don't have an opportunity or don't have many opportunities this day and age, that's for sure. But we often do the Netflix or Stan, and I've loved the revival of Will and Grace that's recently come back, but they've kind of stopped it. I don't know where it disappeared. So we got one extra season out of it, which was kind of fun. But I've started that Younger series.
Yep, that's very popular. Everyone has mentioned Younger. It's like Younger. So
it's a bit like I've only just started it. We'll see how we go.
Are you in season 1?
I am, yes.
Okay, yeah. So I think there's season 5, yeah.
I've heard great things about it. So.
I think, you need, the first season to kind of warm up to it and get to know all the characters, and then, when you get into season 2 and 3, you're, kind of a little bit hooked, and you just watch it because you're like, well, what's going to happen? So, and we all kind of think, oh, yeah, that could be me. Yes, I could pass for a 27-year-old. Not really.
It definitely made me look in the mirror, and I thought, nah, not at 42. No, not me. But maybe lucky her, though.
Yeah. Well, some angles, I don't know. I suppose, because I've watched it now, I think, oh, yeah, she probably suits. She's very tall and a little bit lanky and awkward.
Yeah.
Yeah. And each night, are you cooking meals, or do you do the Sunday meal prep? How does your kitchen run?
Anyone who knows me knows that cooking is far from a skill set that I was ever able to obtain in any of the educational process I've been through in my life. I don't know. It's one of those things that I want to do it, but I just can't. I do have my go-to. I try to simplify things. So one of my go-tos is a risotto, mushroom and chicken risotto, but it's literally a one-pot wonder because I can throw everything in the rice cooker.
Yeah.
Now, I know it's not your traditional risotto the way it comes out, but to me that's my risotto. So I'm kind of proud of that. But, look, I cook some component of every meal every night, and this is how bad I am. I literally shop on demand. So I could go, I'm going to do it today where I'll go to the shop and get everything for tonight. I know full well what I'm eating tomorrow night, but I'll go to the shop tomorrow to get everything I need for tomorrow night. Like it's the
It's the worst way to go.
I'm 42 and still haven't mastered the art of sorting that out. But yeah, it's what we do.
Well, I interviewed one lady just recently who goes, she's like, she does a military shop, she calls it, on a Monday. She meal plans on a Sunday of what she wants to eat for the entire week, and she does her military shop on the Monday, and then so she doesn't have to go back to the shops for anything until the following Monday. And I'm like, whoa.
That is awesome. My sister can nail that. She nails that every single time. Me, I'm the woman with the basket getting my daily shop. Everyone else has got the trolley. But
I would like to see what the cost difference is in that as well, like doing a massive shop and then lots and lots of little shops along the way.
I'm sure I'm out of pocket so much more than I need to be. That's for sure. So.
I know recently I got fined quite heavily for driving around in an unregistered vehicle, but that's because they don't have those little sticker things anymore. And then we moved house, and then I didn't change the company name, like redirect, and we never got it. And anyway, we got fined heaps. And I said, okay, well, that was my mistake. So now I shop at Aldi so I can recoup some of that money back. And I actually love it. The first time I went shopping at Aldi, I rang my mum, who's in Perth. I'm in Sydney. And I'm like, Mum, you have to go to Aldi. It's so cheap. And she's like, oh, my God. So if there's an Aldi near you, it's not bad. Like I've tried all the things that I would usually buy, but I still do like a Coles shop as well because there's certain brands that you just can't mimic well. So yeah,
I agree.
That's what we do. What's one area of your life you would like to improve? And you can't say shopping because I know.
No. I actually don't want to improve that side of things because that means I've got to cook more. And let's not go there. But for me, it would be more travel, introducing a bit more travel. Like I used to travel. I used to have 3 overseas trips a year.
Wow.
Very easily. And it was all for pleasure and just so much fun. And we go back to that educational component. Nothing's better than learning about the rest of the world. And I think I'd love to give that to my kids and expose them to that sort of education as well. So, but for us, it's been a bit of a challenge with my son starting school this year and with my stepdaughter. She's not here all the time. So it's hard to just on a whim book a trip and take off. And I've realised very quickly that paying for one person to go overseas, when you multiply it by 4, whoa,
Gets
that used to be that used to be my budget for all 4 of my trips or 3 of my trips that I would take. But now you just learn to do things a little differently, and we take road trips. We do lots of road trips, and they're so much fun with the kids. But we'll get overseas a bit more. I think that's what I'm aspiring to.
What's like the best place you've been to overseas? Or even your top 2 or your top 3?
Top 2, I think, would be Egypt was one, primarily because my dad was born in Egypt. So I took the trip of a lifetime where not only did I camp through Africa, I made my way up to Egypt where my dad met me, and it was one of the most amazing experiences to see that with him.
Yep.
He hadn't been for a little while, so it was great to just see it with him and whatever else. So that was just and the fact that Egypt's just amazing.
Yeah.
Such. The other place I think, which was a little surprise package for me, was Sri Lanka.
I've heard Sri Lanka's really good.
Well, my partner, he's Sri Lankan.
Yes.
And it was never on my radar until I met him. And again, having a baby, I thought, well, I'd love to learn a little bit more about his culture now that he's half Sri Lankan. And so we headed over there when Isaac was just young, and it was an amazing experience. And, those probably would be one of my top 2.
Awesome. And moving on from that, travel stuff.
I know. I'm pulling at the heartstrings now. What are you doing?
Do you have any daily hacks that makes your life run smoother?
I think for me, a lot of it comes down to my son. That certainly helps. And even just like my family in general, we have lots of visual aids around here. Sorry.
That's all
we have
right.
lots of visual aids that certainly help with him just knowing what the day is, what's expected of the day, and and I can extend that to my partner where he learns what's expected of the day too, because sometimes he has no idea what's going on. So
when you talk about visual aids, like in my mind, I'm thinking, do you have like a board of like what he has to do in the morning to get ready? Like, brush your teeth, have breakfast, pack your bag, put your clothes on, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, so we have definitely one of those. We also have a bigger board that has Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and each of them will have pictures of, say, his therapists or his school teacher, so he knows it's a school day, or we put a little bus up there if he's got a school excursion, or his little library bag. He's also got some aids where on the side of his bag it also shows what he has to remember to put in his bag and remember to bring home. And
bring home.
Yep. It's one of those. So, little things like that around the house. And then we've just got our normal family chart kind of thing that, what's everyone up to, who's got what on, and, the four of us know where everyone's at.
That's really good. I the furthest I've gone with like a visual like thing for my kids is I hand wrote the days of the week, and I've just put in like, you've got gymnastics these days and like, your early morning classes these days. It's like so rushed, so super rushed, and I've just stuck it on the fridge, and I've gone like, you can read now. So you can read now, and they still don't read it, but at least I've tried.
It takes a bit to get used to, definitely. For me, it certainly took a lot to get used to, but it certainly helps just make the day so much easier to get through. Yeah.
I know one of Maddie, my eldest daughter's teachers, she's like super organised with her day, and she's given all the kids' parents like a handout of what they do every day and she blocks it out in like hour blocks or 10-minute blocks or something like that. So you can look at it and go, oh, you're doing this, you're going to the park today, or you're doing that today. So I can put that up on the fridge as well. So
fabulous.
I know. I was like, I never had that before.
I know. That's really good. I like that.
Okay, so I've got 3 quick questions, and then I'll let you get on with your day.
No problems.
Have you signed up to any websites recently that you actually find value in receiving their emails?
I don't really subscribe to many, purely because my emails, I get so many of them, I don't need to unsubscribe to things as well. But I do kind of bookmark various websites. Some of them are boring, like tax and keeping up to date with those sorts of things. But and there's also Tony Bianco, because I like to shoe shop, and if they've got a sale on, that's always good to bookmark as well. So yeah.
There's an app called Honey that you can put onto your Chrome browser, and it gives you like the discount code if there is a discount code for that website.
I have heard of that.
Oh, you heard of that?
Yeah.
That's cool. What's one piece of advice you would give your pre-baby self?
That it's all going to be okay. It really is going to be okay. Just take a deep breath, and just remember that the love will get you through at times.
Oh, that's so sweet. Love will get you through. Okay. And final question. What is the most useful and useless baby item you had?
Most useful for me was a thermometer, because my poor little baby was sick for a lot of his infant years, unfortunately. So that was really useful for us. And it was that outside thermometer, so he didn't kind of scream and whatever else. So that was kind of cool. But the most useless, and people are going to hate me saying this, was my bugaboo pram. I bought it because people told me it was the best thing to do, and it looked great. I certainly liked the look of it, but there were moments it just was so impractical.
Just too big? Too clunky?
No, not enough. It
too small.
Was too difficult. Yeah, and too difficult to manoeuvre. It didn't have cup holders. It didn't have anywhere to hang anything, or even underneath. It was my fault, because I just wanted something that looked good at the time, and hadn't had a child before, so I didn't even know what I was shopping for. But
good.
That's what it. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Amy, for being a part of the Busy Mum podcast today.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for listening to the latest episode of the Busy Mum podcast. Don't forget to let your friends know and also subscribe to the iTunes channel and also my socials if you want to see what I'm getting up to. A brand new episode is out every Monday morning, just like clockwork.